already know that he has speed, he's got power. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference.
Too fast and too smart for Canelo. Even Canelo is a good boxer. I'm not saying like nothing from not taking nothing from Canelo.
Canelo versus Crawford is being promoted as the most thrilling matchup of the year, and seasoned analyst Teddy Atlas has delivered his bold perspective on it. In his eyes, Terence Crawford carries the abilities to emerge victorious, no matter the weight category, backed by his sharp technique, discipline, and talent to adapt when under fire. Atlas emphasizes that Canelo Alvarez is not the same warrior he once was, suggesting that the Mexican legend has lost the drive and intensity that previously fueled his greatness. He underlines how Canelo's recent outings reveal a decline and even insists he is overrated compared to Crawford. For Atlas, Crawford's focus, precision, and determination establish him as the clear favorite in this epic collision.
That the urgency's not there, the fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago. At least I say that. It wasn't there a week ago. Maybe it'll be there now. Maybe he's the kind of guy that, and I get it, that at this point in their career, it has to be a big fight to get up. That Canelo can't get up for these fights. He couldn't get up for that fight. All right, if you want to go down that road, go ahead. But my road is still possible. That he got old, that it just doesn't have that fire no more. Oh my God, I'm going to say this one. That maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, I know he's tremendous. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? If you look at some of his biggest fights, the fights where you had to be great to win, that you fought great fighters or near great fighters, you can make the argument that he lost the first Triple G. He didn't embarrass himself, but he got a draw. Second one, you could make the argument he lost that. I know it was a different kind of fight, and he got better. But you can make that. You can make the argument he lost to Lara. He did lose to Mayweather. You can make the argument he was too young in his career. Maybe. Although it wasn't that young. He turned pro when he was 15 or 16.
Mean Machine, who once shared the ring with Terence Crawford, strongly believes that size won't decide the outcome when Crawford takes on Canelo Alvarez. He argues that Crawford's technical mastery, sharp intelligence, and unmatched adaptability make him far too smart for Canelo to manage. In his view, the difference in ring IQ, timing, and versatility completely overshadows any natural size or weight advantage Canelo may possess. He portrays Crawford as a highly calculated fighter who adjusts instantly, controls distance, dictates pace and rhythm, and dismantles opponents regardless of their physical power. For him, this battle clearly favors the man with the superior tools, and that man is Terence Crawford.
Good for Crawford, Canelo's too big. Right now, my position changed. I think Crawford is too fast and too smart for Canelo. Even Canelo is a good boxer. I'm not saying like nothing from not taking nothing from Canelo, but the way when you see he's too big, when you see Usyk fights and what Usyk did to the big guys like Joshua and Fury, so the size and that doesn't matter. I think the skill level matters, and Crawford, he gained weight, but I think he's gonna be even faster, and his head works good in the ring. His boxing IQ is just on top. So I would say 50-50, but right now I'm kind of leaning more to Crawford.
And that's just because of what you saw Usyk do?
It's not I'm just giving an example. Size doesn't matter in the boxing. When they say Canelo is big and he's fighting 175, 168, and Crawford just moving from 147, 154. So I'm just putting an example that size doesn't matter, and that the fighter makes the fight. I think it's just that I see that Crawford's training and that he's big too right now. So he gained weight, but not and lots of people gain weight that sloppy weight, I would say fat, but he looked like strong, massively strong. So I think it's gonna be a good one.
How did Terence feel physically when you faced him? Like, how is it like his strength? Because yeah, a lot of people do make the point that Canelo's just maybe too big, too powerful for Crawford.
Crawford, I wouldn't say like his punches was like super strong, but his timing and accuracy is what makes difference.
Mean Machine draws a sharp comparison between Terence Crawford's upcoming clash with Canelo Alvarez and Canelo's 2013 battle against Floyd Mayweather. At that time, Canelo was young, inexperienced, and got completely outclassed by Mayweather's speed, defense, and masterful ring control. Mean Machine believes Crawford possesses the tools to execute a similar strategy with slick movement, precise counters, and disciplined tactics designed to neutralize Canelo's greatest strengths. However, he also highlights an important difference. Today's Canelo is far more seasoned, having faced and defeated elite champions, learned how to adapt under fire, and developed the patience and composure he lacked in the Mayweather fight.
Throw hard, but they just throw. And he throws like his calculation for the punches and like timing and aiming to the right spots is just like on another level.
Do you think that's going to be the thing that complicates the fight the most for Canelo?
I think so, yeah. And we can go back a little bit to Mayweather Canelo, and Canelo was young and like Mayweather smart, but it can be like familiar fight like that. Even Canelo right now have more experience, and Crawford is still on his prime. So yeah, we will see.
From just your experience, knowing boxing, like how do you think the fight will play out? Do you think it'll be a slow fight? Do you think it'll be tactical? Like, do you think Crawford?
I think it's gonna start a little bit slowly. They're gonna be careful with each other just to kind of like measure each other and see where they at. And like they're like that's why like they're like champs and they're like great ones. They just don't go like crazy like from the
Regis Prograis delivers a very different take, downplaying the notion that Terence Crawford's punches could truly trouble a naturally bigger granite-chinned fighter like Canelo Alvarez. He emphasizes that Canelo has already absorbed the hardest shots from some of boxing's most dangerous punchers, fighters far larger than Crawford, and has remained virtually unshaken. However, Prograis doesn't completely dismiss Crawford's chances. He concedes that even if Crawford's power might not be enough to hurt Canelo, his supreme skill set, high ring IQ, and ability to seamlessly switch stances provide him with a genuine path to victory through tactics, precision, and disciplined strategy.
I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You gotta look at, and then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, and he can look bigger in. Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. His head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him troubles, Irislan, DeLaura, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't. Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about a great. This might be. People might kill me for it, but not really. But this might be the best Mexican fighter ever. One of them, at least. Right?
Jose Vargas Jr., who has spent rounds sparring with Terence Crawford, echoes Regis Prograis' skepticism regarding Crawford's power. Vargas admits that while Crawford's punches are sharp, clean, and consistently accurate, they don't possess the kind of thudding force required to seriously trouble a fighter as durable and battle-tested as Canelo Alvarez. He stresses that Canelo has already endured the power of naturally bigger men, raising real doubts about whether Crawford can genuinely hurt him. Still, Vargas doesn't completely dismiss Crawford, pointing out that timing, precision, and consistency can outweigh raw force. Yet, in his view, Crawford's shots may lack the heaviness needed to stop Canelo from imposing constant, relentless pressure.
Gonna be done in camp.
You know, all we're doing is putting the final touches. I mean, I've been sparring Ron Ellis. I mean, this guy is a dog, bro. He's been getting me ready. I mean, he's been Canelo's sparring partner. Shout out to my guy Ron, man. He comes, tries to knock me out every single sparring. This guy fights at 68. Big dude, goes southpaw, and hits hard. So I know he fought Benavidez. So you know, he's a veteran, and he's doing veteran tactics in there where he's not letting me rest in the clinch. He's making me work every second of every round. And I got something for Callum. I got something for the whole boxing world. And you know, I feel you're just as good as your preparation. And we've been doing the road work. We've been doing the mountain work. I've been recovering hard. I've been getting my rest. You know, I haven't been drinking no dark sodas, bro. I'm feeling like Tyson Fury right now, bro. Like
Mickey Bay takes a bold stance, accusing Canelo Alvarez of deliberately targeting Terence Crawford. His view, Canelo has often selected opponents where timing and size tilted in his favor, and this fight is no different. Bay argues that Alvarez sees Crawford as a smaller man jumping up in weight, which hands him a built-in physical edge. Critics across the boxing world echo this sentiment, questioning whether the matchup is truly fair given the gap in natural size and strength. Still, Bay concedes that Crawford's brilliance can't be overlooked. Even with Canelo entering as the bigger fighter, Crawford's superior IQ, adaptability, and sharp execution could flip the script on fight night.
That size comparison type of a thing to make it seem like it's not a type of cherry pick that he has to go up into this battle.
No, he a lot bigger. See, people looking at height. Height don't got nothing to do with weight and where you been fighting at. Like, Terence put his weight on, so it's a difference. No, Canelo's a lot bigger, like, hands down. Like, just mass, as far as mass. He naturally that thick. You know, he got to come down. Terence, just because your weight is up there, that don't mean that. That's like putting a dude, Benavidez, as a heavyweight. He might walk around at 205 or whatever. That don't mean he a heavyweight though. So Canelo was by far the bigger man. We didn't seen him hit dudes 6'3", 6'2" in the arm and hurt him. Like, he didn't hurt Kovalev, light heavyweight. So I mean, didn't he have a light heavyweight title?
Well, when he fought Kovalev?
Just period at light heavyweight. Didn't Canelo win the light? Did he?
Nah, he just Kovalev. That's it. Oh,
okay. Well, he might have only fought there a couple times, but the fact that he fought up there though, and he fought way up at light heavyweight, but he been at super middleweight for a minute, so he the bigger guy for sure. So really, he got to hurt Crawford, or he got to get his major respect. He got to get his major respect to make Crawford feel like he got to survive. If he can't that, then he probably ain't gonna win.
Do you feel like you was talking about Crawford? He needs to poke his way out of this fight, right? We've seen that, you know, Crawford's been lined up by lots of fighters. Not Errol Spence, of course, but other fighters that was able to line up with shots that don't necessarily hit like a Canelo. Now, Canelo gonna line you up regardless, right?
Tom Loeffler brings a different perspective, focusing less on fairness and more on the sheer spectacle of Canelo. Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. From a promoter's lens, he sees the matchup as one of the most lucrative events in modern boxing, uniting two of the sport's biggest international icons. Both men command massive fan bases that span nations, cultures, and demographics, making the fight a truly global attraction. Loeffler stresses that the significance of this showdown extends far beyond the ropes. It captures mainstream attention and draws in casual viewers who normally wouldn't tune in.
Actually being in the ring on such a high-profile show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real, you know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him. I think in these weeks leading up to the fight, you know, the fighting public who does not know Callum Walsh is really going to fall in love with him, especially, you know, by fight night.
Saudi boxing power broker Turki Alalshik is widely recognized as the key architect behind turning Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford into reality. His influence and financial muscle have already delivered dream fights to fans, but some analysts question whether every matchup under his vision is truly competitive. In this case, critics point toward the glaring size difference, warning that Crawford may step into the ring at a built-in disadvantage. Many believe the fight was designed more for spectacle and global demand than for balance inside the ropes. Still, Alalshik's role cannot be denied. Without his push, this blockbuster simply wouldn't exist. His ability to unite 2 of boxing's brightest stars shows his unmatched power in shaping today's fight landscape, and whether or not it's a fair pairing, his vision ensures fans a once-in-a-generation event.
And Benavidez Jr., Canelo, you know, would have mopped up all of these dudes, bro. Would have mopped up all of these dudes. Like, you know, when we're coming out and saying that this is a complete mismatch and this is a joke and this is a fantasy fight, you know what I'm saying, that Turki Alalshik dreamed of, and we know he's a big Crawford fan, knowing, you know, the level of star power that Canelo Alvarez has, and he had the bag to make this fight happen. It doesn't mean that it's a logical fight for boxing, bro. At the end of the day, man, you know, you guys tell me if Terence Crawford would have beat Triple G. Tell me if he would have beat Billy Joe Saunders. Tell me if he could beat Bivol, even though, yeah, Canelo didn't beat Bivol, but tell me if he could have beat a Sergey Kovalev. And the other loss Canelo has to Mayweather, man. Crawford, you know, nobody in the world, I felt, could have beat Mayweather in the height of his career, bro. Tell me if Crawford, bro, would have just flat out went in there and beat a guy like Miguel Cotto, Daniel Jacobs. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, it's the level of competition that Canelo faced, man. And these dudes that he went in there to beat. You know, Terence Crawford is nowhere, you know, has fought nowhere near the level of competition that Canelo Alvarez has fought. And I've had some comments talking about, you know, you talk about we're going off of our emotions and you're going off of your emotions. You're not giving no facts, bro. Like, this is all facts right here, bro. The fact of the matter is, bro, Canelo Alvarez has fought at light heavyweight. The fact of the matter is, Terence Crawford has only fought once at 154 pounds. And the fact of the matter is, he was getting touched up by those right hands all night, bro. By Majumov. That's the fact, bro. The biggest, most dominating fight he ever had was against Errol.
Trainer Dave Coldwell has always praised Terence Crawford's versatility, and he believes those qualities will be vital in a matchup with Canelo Alvarez. Crawford's ability to flow effortlessly between orthodox and southpaw stances gives him a unique advantage, creating openings, disrupting rhythm, and forcing opponents off balance. Coldwell also underlines Crawford's superb footwork, noting how his movement allows him to step in and out of range while avoiding dangerous traps. Since Canelo is famous for cutting the ring and applying constant pressure, Crawford's mobility may turn into the deciding factor. For Coldwell, this fight won't hinge on raw power, but on discipline, intelligence, and movement, areas Crawford has mastered to perfection.